Commander Raltor slammed Mara Vance onto the hangar days. His four-fingered grip bruised her shoulder through the restraints. 200 Vorak troops snapped to attention below, their plasma rifles gleaming under the harsh overheads. Raltor bared his fangs in a commander's smile. "Behold your kind's fate," he snarled. His voice boomed over the intercom.
"Gunners, lift demonstration.
Target the simulants." Hatches hissed open. A squad of lifelike human dummies, copied from captured DNA scans, shuffled into view, bound and hooded. Vorak gunners leveled railguns. Bolts cracked out in a staccato roar. Limbs shredded. Heads burst in sprays of synthetic gore. The air thickened with acrid smoke and the tang of vaporized plasteel. Raltor leaned close to Mara. His breath reeked of chem rations. "Your logistics codes. Surrender them, or join the display." Mara stared at the twitching remains. Then she laughed, a short, genuine bark that echoed off the bulkheads. Raltor recoiled. His golden eyes widened. "You mock death?" "Not mock." Mara met his gaze. She nodded at the nearest gunner's weapon. "Poor form, though. Disengage the Theta. 7 safety interlocks before cycling to full auto. Otherwise, you'll warp the emitters." Silence gripped the hangar. Troops shifted. The gunner glanced at his rifle, mandibles clicking. Raltor's crest flared red. Insolent soft skin. "Fear means nothing to you? Seen worse in training sims?" Mara shrugged against her cuffs. That was just lights and noise. Rage twisted his face. He snatched a sidearm from his belt, a Vorak pulse carbine, sleek and oversize. Then feel the heat. He aimed at a target block inches from Mara's boots. The weapon hummed. A bolt lanced out, shattering plasteel shards across her legs. Heat washed her face. The troops cheered. Mara didn't flinch. She tilted her head, listening. 1, 2, 3.2 seconds per shot. Steady. But check your cycle counter. Overheating at limit 14. Barrel temp spiking. You'll cook it in 20 bursts. The carbine whined. Raltor fired again. Smoke curled from the muzzle. Mara's count continued, calm and metronomic. 15. 16. A gunner below hissed.
"Commander, she's right. Readout's redlining."
Raltor snarled and hurled the weapon at a bulkhead. It clattered, venting coolant. "Tighten her restraints. Crush this human's throat if she speaks again." 2 Vorak brutes lumbered up. They wrenched Mara's arms behind her, servos whining as they ratcheted the cuffs tighter. Pain lanced her wrists. She grinned through it. "Cheap intimidation," Mara said. "My drill sergeant's scarier on coffee break. You aliens love the drama, but skip the maintenance." Raltor loomed over her. Spittle flecked his jaws. "You break worlds with fear. I will break you." From the dais edge, a comm panel chirped. "Next." Nine's voice crackled through. The ship system's overseer's tone cut sharp. "Commander, anomaly in sensor net." "Hull breach protocols!" "Silence," Raltor roared. He stabbed the mute. "Focus on the prisoner. Extract those codes." Mara's lips twitched. She spotted the flicker on a nearby status screen. Proximity alerts pulsing amber. Human signatures. Her pulse quickened, but she kept her face blank. Next, Nine's channel reopened. "Commander, incoming signatures match Terran stealth profiles. Recommend." Raltor smashed the panel with his fist. Sparks flew. "Irrelevant! Double hangar guards!" The human watches her rescuers burn. Troops scrambled. But the demo had cost them. Gunners fumbled overheated rifles, swapping barrels too late. Mara counted under her breath. 18. 19. Explosions rocked the ship. Breaching charges, Vorak screams echoed from corridors. Lieutenant Suri Hale's voice pierced the chaos over stolen comms. "Vance, hang tight, vectors locked. Raltor whirled." "What sorcery?" Mara laughed again. "Not sorcery. Planning. You fixated on me, ignored your tech." Classic. Alarms wailed. Necks. Nine's shouts flooded open channels. "Shields dropping! Logistics core exposed. Human signatures in the vents." Raltor drew his command blade. He pressed it to Mara's neck. "Order them off, or—" A shadow dropped from the rafters. Suri Hale landed in a combat roll, her pulse pistol spitting fire. 2 Vorak guards crumpled. She fired precise bursts, knee joints, then heads. "Mara." "Status?" "Restraints tight." "Raltor's melting down." Mara nodded at the seething commander. Raltor lunged. Suri sidestepped, slamming her rifle butt into his crest. He staggered. Mara twisted, using her body weight to trip him into the dais rail. He crashed down, blade skittering away. Suri sliced Mara's cuffs with a vibro knife. Logistics pinged your transponder. Knew you'd stall him. Stall? Mara rubbed her wrists. Rubble shook loose from the ceiling. Just called their bluff. Nex. 9 burst onto the dais, tentacles flailing. Commander, the core! They're uploading! Raltor surged up, tackling Nex. 9. The overseer spasmed, screens across the hangar glitching. Human viruses cascaded through Vorak nets. Mara's logistics codes repurposed as digital knives. Suri hauled Mara toward the breach.
Extraction shuttle's hot. Battle's turning. Our fleet's punching through their line.
Raltor bellowed from the deck. Impossible. Humans shatter under fear. Mara paused at the hatch. She looked back. His eyes locked on hers, fury cracking into doubt. Fear's your weapon. Ours is routine. Fix your guns next time. Vorak reinforcements poured in. Suri's team laid suppressing fire. Calm, overlapping arcs. Mara grabbed a fallen railgun, checked its cycle counter, and fired a burst. It hummed clean. The hangar erupted. Human boarders poured from vents, securing the dais. Raltor fought to his feet, but Nex. 9 dragged him back, babbling about cascading failures. Weapons lockers sparked. Shields failed. The Vorak battlecruiser shuddered as Terran lances carved its flanks. Outside, the void battle swung. Vorak formations fractured, their command net blinded by the core breach. Human ships exploited the gap, boarding pods swarming. Mara vaulted into the shuttle with Suri. Thrusters roared. As they punched clear, she watched the Vorak ship list. Raltor's face filled a cracking view screen, mandibles agape. One laugh had unraveled his perfect terror. Mara stared down the muzzles of 10 Vorak railguns. The hangar thrummed with their charge hum. Raltor loomed on the command days, his mandibles clicking in anticipation. Witness, human, your kind breaks here. Guards herded 4 captured Terran Marines into the kill box. Mara recognized 2. Supply runners from her convoy. They stood rigid, eyes forward. No, please. Raltor raised a claw. Fear accelerates surrender, railguns barked. Blue lances punched through the Marines' chests. Bodies slumped, smoke curling from cauterized wounds. The air reeked of ozone and charred flesh. Mara checked her chrono. 2 minutes past extraction window. She exhaled steady. Raltor leaned forward. Scream, beg, or join them. She met his gaze. Impressive light show, but that portside gun's venting plasma. Give it 10 cycles, it'll slag its coils. Guard shifted. Nex. 9. The wiry systems overseer perched at a side console, flicked his optic stalks toward the weapon bank. Raltor's frills flared. Insolence. You delay the inevitable. Mara nodded at the overheating railgun. Its barrel glowed faint orange. Not insolence. Logistics. Hand me a maintenance terminal. I'll fix it before it cooks your demo. Laughter rippled from the Vorak ranks, harsh chitinous scrapes. Raltor silenced them with a gesture. Prove your worthlessness, then, supervised. He signaled 2 guards. Console access. Restraints on. They clamped her wrists to the terminal pedestal. The screen flickered to life. Vorak script scrolling diagnostics. Mara flexed her fingers. Familiar territory. Goal. Plant the handshake without tripping alarms. Conflict. Guards breathing down her neck. Nex. 9 watching. Outcome. Masked access. She pulled up the gun's targeting calibration. Standard Vorak overlay. Predictable. Her fingers danced, rerouting power flow. Buried in the calibration tweak. A diagnostic handshake. It pinged the ship's core net like a routine query. Invisible in plain sight. Guard 1 grunted. Faster, soft skin. Precision over speed, Mara said. Your guns demand it. Nex. 9's stalks swiveled. He stabbed at his own console. Telemetry spiked. Altered patterns. He scuttled across the deck, claws clicking. Anomaly. Human tampers, Raltor barked from the dais. Restrain her. Mara hit enter. Warning cascade triggered. Harmless flags lit every screen. Thermal overload imminent. Weapons lockout engaged. Railguns wind down. The entire bank powered off. Hangar lights dimmed as auxiliary power rerouted. Nex. 9 lunged at the console. Override! She's masked it. Diagnostic spoof. Guards yanked Mara's chains. She twisted free enough to slap the pedestal. Lockout's safety protocol. Your design, not mine. Raltor stormed down. Reverse it. Now. Alarms wailed ship-wide. Mara scanned the readouts through the chaos. Coronet queried her handshake, responded with repurposed logistics codes. Terran encryption slices. Like butter through Vorak firewalls. Nex, 9 shoved her aside, mandibles grinding, telemetries corrupted, targeting arrays blind. Shields recalibrating. A shudder rocked the battlecruiser. Mara felt it in her boots. Incoming fire, human lances probing the Vorak line. Raltor seized Nex, Johnny's shoulder. Status. Weapons offline, 30 cycles minimum. Net glitches propagating. It's methodical. Mara straightened, under guard grips. Told you. Routine maintenance. Vorak reinforcements piled into the hangar. Raltor waved them to positions. Hold the breach. Human fleet scatters under our guns, but the guns stayed dark. Mara spotted a viewport feed. Vorak cruisers drifting. Formations bunching. No coordinated fire. Her wrist comm buzzed. Subdermal implant. Ghost signal. Suri's voice. Faint. Mara. Read. Lockout bought us the window. Pods inbound. Hold pattern. Mara tapped her thigh twice. Affirmative. Nex. 9 hissed at his screens. Command net fracturing. Viruses? From her query. Raltor rounded on Mara. What have you done? She shrugged. Fixed your gun. Ship's checklist did the rest. Explosions rattled the hull. Boarding pod clamps thudded against the outer bays. Vorak troops scrambled, railguns sparking back online too late. Guards hauled Mara toward the brig. She dragged her feet, forcing them to wrestle.
Buys time!
Suri's signal pulsed again. Vent's clear. Team's in. Die is secure in 5. Raltor bellowed orders. Seal sectors. Execute the human. A guard raised his rifle. Mara ducked as railgun fire, human fire, stitched the deck from overhead vents, suppressing arcs, textbook overlap. She rolled behind a crate, grabbed a dropped Vorak pistol, checked its charge. Full. Nex, 9 yanked Raltor back as sparks flew from weapons lockers. Shields failing. Core breach imminent. Mara popped up, fired twice. Guard down. She snatched his keys, unlocked her restraints. Suri dropped from a vent, mag boots clamping. Logistics queen, shuttles hot. Mara tossed her the pistol. Fleet status. Punching through. Your hack blinded their net. Suri covered the flank. Precise burst dropping Vorak. Raltor fought to his feet amid the chaos, claws slashing at borders. Impossible. Fear breaks humans. Mara paused at the extraction hatch, locked eyes with him. Fury cracked his mandibles into doubt. Fear's your weapon, she said. Ours is routine. Fix your guns next time. Vorak poured in. Suri's team laid fire. Calm. Methodical. Mara snagged a fallen railgun, cycled its counter. Clean hum. She fired a burst. Hit. Human boarders swarmed the dais. Raltor staggered. Nex. 9 dragging him into shadows, babbling failures. The ship groaned. Terran lances carved deep. Mara vaulted into the shuttle with Suri. Thrusters ignited. Through the viewport, the Vorak battlecruiser listed. Raltor's face filled a cracking screen, mandibles agape. One calm fix had unraveled it all. She didn't fight the guards. She fought the ship's checklist. But the void battle raged on. Vorak reserves closed in. Suri's voice cut through. Fleets flanked. We need that core dump to swing it. Mara pulled up her wrist display. Handshake, still live. On it. Her fingers flew. Logistics codes turned viral. Vorak command net shredded. Outside, human ships exploited the blind spot. Pods swarmed. Nex, 9 spasmed on the bridge feed. Ghost image from the hack. Screens glitched fleet-wide. Raltor's roar echoed in the static. Mara allowed one smile. Routine wins wars. The shuttle punched clear. Alarms faded. Suri gripped her shoulder. Raltor's done, but his warlord's inbound. Mara nodded. Checklists ready. In the distance, Vorak hulls cracked under Terran fire. Aliens learn slow. Underestimate human maintenance at your peril. She leaned back. Crisis, as usual. Restore weapons power, Nex, 9. Full surge. Commander Raltor's voice boomed through the cell's wall speaker. Mara Vance sat cross-legged on the cold deck plating. Her restraint cuffs hummed faintly. linked to the Vorak battlecruiser's grid. She watched the bridge feed flicker on the monitor. Raltor paced, his armored crest flared. Nex, 9 hunched at the system's console, claws flying over holographic keys, and prepped the second show. Raltor added, "Crew assembly at 1800. This human breaks today." Mara flexed her fingers. The staged massacre earlier, holo-projections of her squad vaporized, hadn't phased her. Routine psychop. She'd logged it like a supply glitch. Now they doubled down. Predictable. Footsteps echoed in the corridor. A Vorak guard halted at her cell door. Low rank, by the faded carapace markings, his multi-lenses swiveled toward her. "Food slab," he grunted, pushed a tray through the slot. Mara stood. "Your left forelimb twitches. Faulty nerve relay?" He froze. Lenses narrowed. "Human chatter." Silence. She nodded at his utility pouch. Coil fuse overload. Happens in damp corridors. Bypass with a shunt wrap. Saves recalibration. He clicked mandibles. Hesitated. Pulled a ration bar from his belt. Slid it through the slot. Truth, logistics officer, seen it on a dozen holes. She pocketed the bar. As he turned, her fingers darted. Snagged a slim coil fuse from his open pouch. Tucked it into her cuff seam. Guard stomped away, oblivious. Mara sank back. Examined the fuse. Standard Vorak issue, 3 centimeters braided alloy. Perfect. She pried at her restraint cuff's edge. Magnetic seal resisted. Used the ration bar's wrapper, metallic foil, for leverage. Popped the access panel. Exposed wiring nest. Restraints doubled as monitoring bracelets. Terran design, ironically. Captured gear. Goal. Jury rig, a signal coupler. Tapped the buried emergency transponder in her forearm implant. Buried deep, post-capture precaution. Vorak scans missed it. Conflict. Cuffs jammed her fine motor. Fuse too rigid. She stripped the fuse's casing with her teeth. Bared leads. Twisted one to the cuff's power thread. Sparks bit her skin. Ignored. Soldered with cuff discharge. Brief overload pulse. Smell of ozone filled the cell. Second lead to data line. Matched polarity by feel. Human nerves tuned for this. Years of field repairs. Coupler formed, crude, but live. Green flicker on her wrist display. Ping the transponder. Encrypted burst to any Terran relay. She keyed the sequence. Implant warmed. Linked. Now the cue. 5 words max. Suri's protocol. Precise. Actionable. Fingers tapped. Extraction. Now. Core vulnerable. Send. Bridge feed glitched. Raltor's voice cut in. Nex. 9. Anomaly in prisoner sector. Static hissed. Cell door hissed open. Raltor stormed in. Crest fully flared. Plasma pistol drawn. You. Mara met his lenses. Cuff panel snapped shut. Signal away. Transfer her, he snarled into comm. Maximum security. Isolate all feeds. Guards swarmed. Yanked her up. Cuffs tightened. Dragged her down corridors. She walked steady. No resistance. Let them think control. Nex. 9's voice crackled over ship-wide. Weapons at 80%, Commander. But grid flux. Silence. Raltor barked. Mara's wrist tingled. Handshake confirmed. Signal out. In the shadows of a Terran forward base, Lieutenant Suri Hale's console chirped. 5 words glowed. Extraction.
Now!
Core vulnerable. Suri's eyes hardened. Mara's live. Strike team. Spool up. Pods launched. Human boarders prepped railguns. Raltor shoved Mara into the high-security vault. Triple fields hummed. No monitors. Bare walls. Sit, he ordered. Holstered pistol. Your calm ends. Crew watches you beg. She sat, checked cuff seam. Fuse intact. He loomed. First show failed. Massacre holo. Expected screams. You? Recited checklists. Standard procedure, she said. Logs everything. Mandibles clicked rage. Second show. Live. Your fleet contacts. Executed. Bluff. She'd felt no pings, but he believed fear worked. Door sealed. Raltor exited. Mara exhaled. Coupler overheated. Smoke wisped. Dead now. Job done. Alarms wailed distant. Ship shuddered. Nex, 9's panic leaked through vents. Commander! Weapon surge failed. Feedback loop. Raltor's roar followed. Contain it. Mara traced vault seams. No tools.
Wait!
Hull groaned. Impacts. Too soon. Her implant buzzed. Faint. Surizak. En route. Smile tugged her lip. Routine. Guards burst in. Move! Boarding alert! They hauled her out. Corridors chaos. Vorak scrambled. Claws scraping. Raltor met them mid-deck. Secure her to bridge. Plasma fire cracked ahead. Human breaching charges boomed. Boarders hit. Railgun bursts shredded bulkheads. Mara twisted free in the crush. Snagged a fallen pistol. No railgun clip on deck. Logistics eye. Guard lunged. She sidestepped. Used his momentum. Slammed into wall. Clip cycled. Clean hum. Fired burst. Hit. Human boarders swarmed the dais. Raltor staggered back. Nex. 9 dragged him into shadows, babbling. Grid anomalies. Human signal. Ship groaned. Terran lances carved deep. Suri's voice cut through static. Mara, shuttle bay now. Mara vaulted rails, dodged claws, punched through to extraction. Shuttle ramp dropped. Suri hauled her aboard. Thrusters ignited. Through viewport. Borat battlecruiser listed. Reltor's face filled cracking bridge screen. Mandibles agape, one calm fix unraveled it all. But void battle raged. Vorak reserves closed. Suri gripped console. Fleet flanked. Need core dump to swing it. Mara synced wrist display. Handshake live. Logistics codes viral. Fingers flew. Vorak command net shredded. Pods swarmed. Human ships exploited blind spots. Nex. 9 spasmed on hacked feed. Screens glitched fleet-wide. Raltor's roar echoed static. Mara a loud smile. Routine wins. Shuttle punched clear. Alarms faded. Suri gripped shoulder. Raltor's done. Warlord inbound. Mara nodded. Checklists ready. Distance. Vorak hulls cracked under Terran fire. 5 words left her wrist and put a strike team in motion. Commander Keth Raltor clamped his claws around Mara Vance's bicep and yanked her forward. Vorak troops snapped to attention along the dim-lit corridor. Their mandibles clicked in unison. Raltor thrust Mara ahead like a trophy. Witness the humans fall, he snarled. His voice boomed off armored bulkheads. Their logistics witch. Broken. Mara kept her stride even. She scanned the ranks. 50 warriors, give or take. Shock poles hummed at their belts. Standard intimidation drill. Routine. Her wrists itched under the binders. Wrist display hidden. Signal live. Raltor shoved her past a cluster of officers. Their compound eyes gleamed. He leaned close, hot breath on her neck. They will fear what I have conquered. She met his gaze. Calm. You mean the ambush you botched at Grid Epsilon? Silence rippled through the corridor. Officers stiffened. A sub-officer hissed. Raltor halted. Claws tightened. Silence, mammal. Mara didn't flinch. Flanked your cruisers on the pivot. Lost 3 destroyers to our corvettes. Amateur formation. Troops shifted. Whispers buzzed. Raltor's mandibles flared. You dare critique Vorak tactics? Next, your boarding teams. Mara pressed on. Voice steady, dropped in clustered waves. We picked them off in choke points. Lost cohesion before the bridge. An officer barked a laugh. Raltor whirled. Quiet! She ignored him. And reserves? You held them back. Let our lances carve your flanks. Basic error. Raltor's crest flushed violet. Rage pulsed in his pheromones. Sharp. Acrid. He signaled a guard. The collar. Test it. Now. The guard slapped the shock collar band over Mara's neck. Cold metal clicked shut. Prongs bit skin. Raltor snatched the activator fob. His claw hovered. Learn respect. Mara locked her jaw, eyes on his. Or your bridge lockdown. Delayed response by 7 minutes. He pulled the trigger. Agony exploded. Muscles seized. Nerves fired white-hot. Mara clamped teeth. Gritted through. Words forced out. Garbled, but clear. Uploaded the viral dump. Your net's blind. Shock cycled. Raltor's eyes widened. He triggered again. Longer burst. She wrote it. Vision blurred. Lungs burned. Kept talking. Pods incoming. Your bays exposed. Troops gaped. Officers recoiled. One dropped his pole. Raltor snarled. Mandibles slashed air. Stop speaking! Mara gasped as the pulse cut, straightened. Vector scopes. Next. 9 burst from a side hatch. The system's overseer skittered forward. Screens clutched to chest plate. Antennae quivered. Commander! Anomalies fleet-wide. Raltor rounded on him. Not now. Human signal pinged back. Next, 9 jabbed a claw at his display. Red alerts flashed. Reply code active. Core systems querying origin. It's her. He thrust toward Mara. Mara felt the wrist unit vibrate. 5 words confirmed. Strike team inbound. Hold. Raltor froze. Claws flexed on the fob. Impossible. She's bound. Next. 9's voice pitched high. Grid spiking. Human pods decloaking at bays 3 and 7. Fire control offline. Corridor alarms wailed. Bulkheads shuddered. Troops grabbed weapons. Chaos erupted. Raltor shoved Nex, 9 aside. Grabbed Mara's collar. Ripped it free. Sparks flew. What have you done? Mara met his stare. No smile. Just fact. Routine sync. Your firewalls folded. He dragged her toward the bridge hatch. Guards piled in behind. Lock her in interrogation. Full probe. Next, 9 scrambled after. Commander, overrides failing. Enemy signatures in vents. Explosions rocked the deck. Human breaching charges. Railgun chatter echoed from below. Mara twisted in his grip. Wrist unit pulsed again. Series marker blinked green. Extraction window open. Raltor barked orders. Seal sectors. Vector reserves. Too late. Vorak net glitched. Hollow displays flickered. Pods swarmed feeds. Mara planted feet. Forced Raltor to drag her. Bought seconds. Officers scattered. One subcommander yelled, "She's the source. Cut her." Raltor backhanded him. No, she's mine. Next. 9 collided with a bulkhead. Screens shattered. Human lances aligning. Mara's binders loosened in the jostle. She palmed the loose prong from the collar. Worked it into the lock. Deck tilted. Vorak battlecruiser listed under fire. Troops stumbled. Raltor hauled her through the hatch. Bridge loomed. Console sparked. Crew spasmed at stations. He slammed her into a restraint chair. Claws raked controls. Jam all human freaks! Nex. 9 slid in. Antennae wilted. Can't. Her code rooted deep. Mara popped the binders. Wrist display synced full. She tapped. Bridge clear. Go. Pods hit main bay. Human shouts filtered through vents. Rail bursts shredded inner doors. Raltor whirled. Saw her free hands. Roared. She vaulted the chair. Grabbed a sparking console shard. Improvised blade. He lunged. Claws extended. Footsteps thundered. Hatch blew inward. Suri Hale charged first. Spec Ops team fanned behind. Carbines barked. Raltor twisted. Took a grazing shot to the crest. Reeled. Siri snapped shots. Precise. Dropped 2 guards. Mara sidestepped Raltor's swing. Used his momentum. Shoved him into a console. Sparks engulfed him. Next, 9 bolted for an escape pod. Suri's round clipped his leg. He sprawled. Team swept the bridge. Secured stations. Suri gripped Mara's arm. Shuttle ramp hot. Fleets breaking them. Mara nodded. Snagged a Vorak data. Chit. Pocketed it. Codes intact. Reserves flanked. Raltor groaned from the deck. Mandibles twitched. Eyes locked on Mara. Not rage. Something new. Awe. She stepped over him. Never anger humans. Suri hauled her out. Corridor ran red with Vorak blood. Human Marines held choke points. Alarms peaked. Hull breached. Shuttle bay ahead. Ramp dropped. Thrusters roared. Mara vaulted aboard. Strapped in. Suri punched controls. Through viewport, Vorak bridge cracked. Raltor's silhouette rose. Claws raised. Not in fight. Salute. Pods detached. Human lances carved the cruiser open. Suri gripped console. Warlord's reserves scattering. Your dump swung it. Mara synced the chit. New data flowed. Checklists ready. Distance. Vorak hulls vented atmosphere. Terran fire pressed. One calm voice had unraveled the line. But reserves rallied. Shadow signatures closed. Raltor's voice crackled on open comm. Human. We yield this field. Face me proper. Mara, keyed response. 5 words. Next time, bring better. Signal cut. Shuttle punched clear. Battle turned. Suri's breaching charge ripped through the outer bay doors. Alarms shrieked. Vorak garrison troops spun toward the breach. Human Spec Ops fire poured in. Suri's team cut them down in seconds. She slapped the power cut off. Hangar doors slammed shut. Trapped 300 Vorak inside. Mara Vance crouched in the adjacent conduit access. Raltor's massacre still echoed. Executed human prisoners broadcast live to break her. Bodies slumped in the chamber next door. Blood pooled under the hatch. She'd watched without flinching. Logistics officer. Seen worse on resupply runs. Crisis was checklist. She snapped the conduit panel open. Exposed wires hummed. Her shock collar pulsed warning red. Stolen coil fuse from a guard's toolkit. Screwdriver mindset. She jammed it in. Grounded the circuit. Sparks bit her fingers. Collar went dark. Dead. Footsteps thundered past. Vorak patrols rerouted to the bay. Mara keyed her hidden earpiece. Suri. Vent spine, deck 7. False alarms inbound. Affirm. Suri whispered back. Linking now. Mara slipped into the corridor. Dim red emergency lights painted claws on bulkheads. She palmed a maintenance tablet, hacked the fire suppression grid, triggered alarms in patrol sectors. Blue foam and strobes across 3 decks. Vorak scattered, chasing ghosts. Raltor's voice boomed over shipwide. Seal bulkheads. Isolate intruders. Full drone sweep. Necks. 9 purge vents. Bulkheads groaned shut. Trapped Mara and Suri's team in the spine. Drones whirred to life. 6 hunters, optics glowing. Mara bolted for the maintenance dead zone. Abandoned power relays. No shields. Perfect trap. Suri, drones inbound. Dead zone. Grid 4. 1, 2. EM burst prepped. Suri's team stacked behind her. Mara yanked a relay panel. Ripped capacitors free. Twisted them into a jury-rigged pulse bomb. Wires soldered with a plasma torch scrap. 10 seconds. Drones hummed closer. Optics locked. First drone rounded the corner. Mara lobbed the burst. EM wave cracked out. Drones froze midair. Circuits fried. Crashed in heaps. Suri pumped her shotgun. Clear. Push bridge. Mara nodded. Snagged drone wreckage for parts. Raltor's playbook. Fear first. Now he's cornered. They ghosted forward. Vorak reinforcements piled at choke points. Mara patched Suri squad HUDs with ship schematics. Bypass left. Vent drop to command deck. Raltor paced the bridge. Mandibles clicked fury. Human female unbroken. After the display, he slammed a claw on console. Screens showed Bay massacre playback. Mara's face. Calm. No screams. No begs. Necks. 9 hunched at systems. Drones offline. Alarms rerouted. She's rewiring us. Impossible, Raltor snarled. 1 logistics drone. Deploy reserves. Probes pinged. Human signatures climbed the spine. Raltor sealed the final bulkhead. Hold bridge. She breaks or dies. Mara led the breach. Suri's breacher vaporized the access hatch. Smoke billowed. Vorak bridge crew spun. Rifles barked. Suri rolled left. Suppressed rounds dropped 2. Mara flanked right. Used drone husk as shield. Fired captured Vorak pistol. Precise. Winged a gunner. Necks. 9 scrambled. Commander! Raltor charged Mara. Claws extended. Towered twice her height. She sidestepped. Used his momentum. Shoved him into a console. Sparks engulfed him. Necks. 9 bolted for an escape pod. Suri's round clipped his leg. He sprawled. Team swept the bridge. Secured stations. Suri gripped Mara's arm. Shuttle ramp hot. Fleets breaking them. Mara nodded. Snagged a Vorak data chit. Pocketed it. Codes intact. Reserves flanked. Raltor groaned from the deck. Mandibles twitched. Eyes locked on Mara, not rage. Something new. Awe. She stepped over him. Never anger humans, Suri hauled her out. Corridor ran red with Vorak blood. Human Marines held choke points. Alarms peaked. Hull breached. Shuttle bay ahead. But wait. The beats were up to drones. And previous context starts there. No, I included the previous snippet at end, but need to expand to 1300. That's short. Need to flesh out. Raltor had staged the massacre in the hangar bay observation room. Mara chained to a stanchion. Shock collar, live. He'd marched in captured Marines, her resupply crew, forced her to watch. See your weakness, he'd hissed. Mandibles flared. Surrender codes. Or join them. Rifles cracked, bodies hit deck. Blood sprayed glass. Mara tallied. 5 dead. Ammo casings, 12. Efficient kill. She'd noted the guard fumbling his toolkit. Coil fuse glinted. No tears, no rage. Logistics, she said flat. Bodies mean cleanup. Your bays clog, Raltor recoiled. You mock death? Routine. She twisted wrists. Snapped fuse free when he turned. Hit it. That's how she got it. Now, post-drone kill, they pushed harder. Vorak counterattack hit at the spine junction. 10 troops. Armored. Plasma lanced. Suri dove. Mara triggered a secondary alarm, rerouted to their position. Confused the Vorak. They hesitated. Suri's team exploited. Shotguns boomed. Shredded armor joints. Mara picked off the straggler. Pistol bark. A headshot. Bridge next, Mara said. Tablet pinged reserves data. Raltor's flank exposed. Nex. Nine's voice crackled on intercepted comm. Commander, she's in the vents. Turning systems. Raltor barked orders. Purge her! Mara grinned. Purged their drones instead. Rewired purge valves to vent plasma coolant into patrol bays. Screams echoed. Suri whistled. Screwdriver army. Aliens brought rifles, Mara replied. We brought checklists. Bulkhead ahead. Bridge hatch. Suri slapped breacher charge. Boom. Inside, chaos. Raltor roared. Nex. 9 panicked. The shove. Sparks. Clip. Sweep. But expand scenes. Suri's breach at Outer Bay. From Mara's earpiece, she hears it. Feels the ship shudder. After disabling collar, she moves. Describe actions more. Vorak physiology. Mandibles. Claws. Status-driven. Mara's calm competence unnerves them. Raltor's attempt backfires because her resilience rallies her team or something. But she's prisoner. Her reaction triggers chain. By not breaking, Raltor fixates, delays response. Yes. During massacre, Raltor expects break, so doesn't search her well. She steals fuse. Her unfazed look makes him doubt, hesitates on alarms, then chain failures. In drone scene, expand. Mara in dead zone. Drones, approach. She sees their scan patterns. Predictable. Builds EM. Fingers bleed from hot wires. Ignores. Burst hits. Drones fry. Vorak controller on bridge sees failure. Panics. Nex. 9 spots anomaly but too late. Then, push. To hit word count. Add sensory/action details sparingly. Suri's team. Marines described briefly through action. Dialogue punchy. End on the hook from previous, but since pure prose continuation, no, write this segment. The instruction is to write the story segment now, expanding beats. Previous context is the end of this chapter, perhaps. Anyway, write full 1300, count words as I go mentally. Start writing properly. Suri's breaching charge detonated. The outer bay doors buckled inward. Vorak garrison troops whirled. Human rounds claws scraped steel as Commander Keth Raltor shoved Mara Vance against the reactor access hatch. His mandibles flared wide, spraying flecks of acidic saliva onto her flight suit. The Vorak towered over her, 4 arms flexed in dominance display, claws inches from her throat. Surrender now, human, he hissed through clicking jaws. Broadcast your defeat. Beg for your crew's lives. My holocam captures every word. Mercy follows compliance. Mara blinked sweat from her eyes. Her fingers throbbed, raw from stripping hot wires in the dead zone minutes ago. Drones had swarmed her there, their scan beams painting red grids across the shadows. Predictable patterns. She jury-rigged an EM pulse from scavenged conduits. Sparks bit her skin. Blood slicked the makeshift coil. She triggered the burst anyway. Drones dropped like stones. Circuits fried black. Now, Raltor loomed. His status pheromones choked the air, thick with triumph. He expected terror. She straightened her spine instead. Camera ready? Mara asked. Voice level. Routine. Raltor's compound eyes narrowed. One claw tapped the hovering holocam drone. Its lens whirred to life. Red light, steady. It records. Speech your capitulation. Not yet. Mara met his gaze. State your threat protocol. Word for word. For the record, his mandibles twitched. Vorak command doctrine demanded precision in intimidation. Status rose with flawless recitation. He hesitated, then snarled the mandated phrase, "Initiate auxiliary shutdown sequence Alpha 9. Human vessel yields or faces total core breach. Evacuate non-essentials." The deck shuddered. Alarms blared. Sharp staccato pulses. Mara's earpiece crackled. Lieutenant Hale's voice cut through. "Mara, we're in. Breach at Bay 3. Hold position." Raltor froze. What? Automated hatches slammed shut behind him. Reactor coolant vents hissed open. Lights flickered to emergency red. The safety protocol, forgotten relic from Joint Fleet maneuvers, had activated. Alpha 9 locked down power cores across Vorak support ships in the fleet. No weapons, no shields, just cooling fans whining in panic. "You!" Raltor roared. Claws slashed air. "Sabotage!" Mara sidestepped his lunge, grabbed a loose panel conduit, still warm from her earlier hack. "Just your words, Commander. Protocol's protocol." On the bridge, Nex, Nine's tentacles flew across consoles. The system's overseer's eye stalks swiveled frantically. Anomaly alerts flooded screens, cascading shutdowns rippling to the fleet. Raltor's theatrics had triggered it all. Meltdown imminent if unchecked. "Commander, Nex." Nine broadcasted, voice edged with static. "Power reroute now, or we lose the ship." Raltor's response snarled back. "Override it. Execute the human. Negative." Nex. Nine stabbed keys. Rerouted auxiliary plasma to stabilizers. Weapons arrays went dark. Fleet links severed. Ship integrity first. Always. Raltor's status games be damned. Mara felt the shift. Gravity stabilizers groaned back online. But the fleet feed on Raltor's holocam glitched. Vorak cruisers drifting powerless. Human strike craft swarming in. Her earpiece buzzed again. "Mara, command deck clear in 60. Extraction vector set." Raltor whirled. Claws raked the bulkhead, gouging sparks. "You think this breaks me?" "My garrison holds the bays," he lunged. Mara ducked, rolled. Her boot caught a tripped alarm panel. It sparked. She jammed the conduit into the exposed relay. Overload pop. Local power died. Reactor access plunged black. Raltor bellowed. His night vision adapted slow. Vorak eyes tuned for bright assault worlds, not ship guts. Mara moved in the dark. Palmed a stolen fuse from his belt during the lunge. He hadn't searched her well. Expected broken prey, not this. Footsteps thundered from the corridor. Suri's team breached the outer bay doors minutes prior. Breaching charge boomed. Doors buckled inward. Vorak garrison troops whirled, plasma rifles up. Human marines poured through. Compact frames in void black armor. Suppressed rounds cracking precise. First Marine vaulted debris. Double tap. Dropped a Vorak sentry. Claws spasmed mid-swing. Second Marine flanked left. Grenade launcher coughed. Sticky foam netted two more, limbs pinned before they fired. Suri led point. Her visor gleamed. Deck schematics overlay. Push command. Marines stacked at junctions. Laser sights danced. Vorak claws scraped bulkheads in retreat. Human rounds punched through carapace. Center mass. No waste. Back at reactor access, Raltor's mandibles clacked rage. Nex. 9. Restore fleet power. Static answered. Nex. 9 prioritized meltdown abort. Reroute complete. Weapons offline.
Your protocol, Commander. Your fault.
Mara pressed the hatch override. It hissed open. Partial power lingered. Coolant mist billowed. She slipped inside. Raltor charged after. Human filth! She twisted the stolen fuse into the main coolant bypass. Click. No meltdown. But exhaust vents jammed wide. Ship-wide pressure dropped. Fighters outside. Suri's squad would punch through easier now. Raltor barreled in, grabbed her shoulder. Claws punctured suit fabric. Pain flared. Mara ignored it, twisted free. Elbowed his mandible joint. Soft spot. From briefings. He reeled. Her earpiece. Mara. 30 seconds. Marines at your hatch. Holocam drone floated in, still broadcasting. Fleet watched. Vorak allies saw their commander flail. Humans unmoved. Raltor recovered. Pinned her again. Confess. Yield. Mara stared up. Calm. Bloodied fingers flexed. Already did. Your script worked perfect. Alarms peaked. Bridge feed showed Suri's Marines stacking at command deck. Next, Nine's tentacles froze as doors blew. Suri kicked in first. Rifle swept. Secure the deck! Marines flowed. Vorak bridge crew raised claws. Too slow. Rounds cracked. Next, Nine dove under console. I yield. Ship yours. Raltor's comms lit with panic. Fleet captains hailed. Power dead. Humans inbound. He released Mara. Mandibles sagged. Status crumbled on live feed. The human hadn't screamed, hadn't begged. Her calm stare unraveled him. Delayed alarms. Fixated rage. Chain of failures from one unfazed logistics officer. Mara stood. Brushed claws off her suit. Extraction? Suri's voice in earpiece. Affirm. Welcome aboard. Marines hauled Raltor's guards past reactor hatch. He backed away, eyes wide at the impossible human. She walked out. Ship shuddered free. Fleet support gutted. He demanded a confession. She'd used his script to pull the plug. Suri's Marines slammed restraints on the last Vorak guard. Mara flexed her bruised fingers, tasting copper in her mouth. Blood from Raltor's claw swipe trickled down her chin. She wiped it with her sleeve. No time for pain. Suri crossed the deck in 3 strides. Her rifle stayed leveled at Raltor. Bance? Status? She grabbed Mara's arm, scanned for bleeds. Quick. Professional. Trust in her eyes. Operational. Mara nodded at the holocam drone hovering midair. Its red light blinked. Del Lev. Broadcast that feed wide. Let the sector see their commander's face. Suri tapped her wristcom. Hack confirmed. Footage looping across all Vorak channels. Occupied worlds, fleet nets, even their home relay. She smirked. Your unfazed stare is viral now. Raltor staggered upright. Mandibles clicked fury. His polished armor dented from the scuffle. Bridge crew froze, tentacles limp, claws holstered. The fleet hails blared from his console. Captains screaming power losses, human boarding parties inbound. You Death World brutes! Raltor thrust a claw at Mara. Prove it!
Spare me. Show your kind lack savagery, or execute me like animals.
Mara met his gaze. Calm, she stepped forward. Marines tensed but held. Suri's hand hovered near her sidearm. Brutes? Mara tilted her head. You staged a massacre for my confession. Killed your own to scare me. Didn't work. She glanced at the wounded Vorak sprawled near reactors. 3 guards, guts steaming, moaning through pain vents. Raltor's eyes widened. Live feed caught every twitch. Medics. Mara raised her voice. No shout, just order. Stabilize the wounded. Vorak first. Human standard. Seal bleeds. Stims for shock. She pointed at a Marine.
You. POWP. Processing for Commander Raltor.
Intact. Full Geneva protocols. The Marine snapped too. Ma'am? He advanced on Raltor with cuffs humming active. Raltor recoiled. You yield to me, Mercy?
This proves nothing.
Mara shrugged. Proves logistics. Can't waste assets. She turned to Nex. 9, the system's overseer cowering under his console. Tentacles quivered. You. Navigation keys. Hand them over. Nex, 9 stalks blinked panic. He slithered halfway out.
Human, you laugh at death shows.
No rage. No break. His voice modulator whined. Keys here. A data spike ejected from his station. He tossed it to Suri. Full access. Engines. Shields. Auth codes. Take ship. Better than scuttle. Suri snatched it. Plugged into her tac pad. Confirmed. Capture viable. No self-destruct. She grinned at Mara. Your play worked. Fleet's blind without this beast. Alarms died. Lights stabilized. Vorak crew stared, mandibles agape, eyes locked on Mara, who turned their commander's terror tactic into surrender. Raltor snarled as Marines zip-tied his claws.
Impossible. Fear breaks all.
You treated as filing. Mara brushed past him, close enough to smell his panic sweat. Filed you under POW. She nodded to Suri. Extraction route clear? Affirm. Shuttles docking. Suri waved her team. Secure prisoners, Vance, with me. Mara walked off the command deck. Boots echoed on grated metal. Alien eyes tracked her. Crew from lower decks peering through hatches, bridge officers slack-jawed. Whispers hissed in their tongue. She laughed. No fear sent. Commander broke first. The ship shuddered. Docking clamps released. Human shuttles pulled it into formation. Vorak fleet remnants scattered. Nav locked without keys. Mara hit the corridor lift. Doors hissed shut. Alone for a beat. She leaned against bulkhead. Adrenaline ebbed. Ribs throbbed from the pin. But she straightened. Routine crisis. Logged. Siri's voice crackled in her earpiece. Footage hitting 1 billion views. Vorak allies fracturing. Raltor's status speech backfired hard. Good. Mara punched lift controls. Process him clean. Might need intel later. Lift dinged open. Marines saluted as she strode to the bay. Shuttles hummed. Ramps down. Pilots waved her aboard. Outside viewports, the sector burned. Vorak stations dark. Human strikes precise. Raltor's intimidation play. Staged massacre. Live threats. Chained his own failures. Delayed response. Fixated rage. Gifted humans the ship intact. She buckled in. Shuttle lurched free. Stars wheeled. A Vorak ensign's voice leaked over open comms. Patched fleet-wide. The human. She didn't rage. Just. Managed. Like extermination was inventory. Mara closed her eyes. Smiled faint. Inventory won wars. But Raltor's roar cut through static. This changes nothing. Humans break eventually. Siri patched in, laughing. Tell that to your crew, saluting her exit. Shuttle engines roared. Battle swung. One calm stare at a time. Next, Nine's data spike proved gold. Suri's team locked down the Dreadnought's core in minutes. No breach alarms. No kamikaze codes. Full capture. Raltor, in cuffs, watched from brid feed as his fleet captain surrendered en masse. How? He muttered to his guard. She ordered aid. For us. The Marine shrugged. Standard up. Saves med supplies. Sector broadcasts looped the holocam truth. Vorak commander flailing. Human bloodied but bored. Allies peeled off. Uprising sparked on occupied worlds. Mara's shuttle docked flagship. Debrief waited. But she paused at airlock. Checked her tac pad. Incoming from logistics net. Vance, your script use saved 3 carriers. Resupply inbound. She pocketed it. Walked into light. Commander Keth Raltor paced his cell, mandibles ground. The human's face haunted, calm amid his masterpiece of terror. Massacre staged perfect, guards slain, on cue. Yet she twisted free. Used his drama against him. Guards reported. Next, 9 volunteered keys. Crew yielded without fight. Her orders, aid for wounded. Protocols for him. Spread like virus. Vorak honor twisted. He slammed fist on wall. Status gone. But deeper. Respect crept. Humans didn't explode like Death World myths. They endured, managed, turned fear to fuel. A human voice over intercom. Commander. Interrogation in 10. Cooperate. Get med priority. Raltor straightened. Claws flexed. Perhaps yield-held strategy. Mara entered debrief bay. Suri waited. Hollows of captured ship spinning. You owned that deck. Raltor challenged your brute nature. You proved opposite. Mara sat. Not proving, just doing job. She tapped console. Ship's logs show his fleet was minutes from route anyway. Intimidation delayed them. Siri nodded. Chain reaction from one logistics officer. Underestimated. Footage played on main screen. Mara's stare. Raltor's sag. Viral across stars. Aliens learned. Never stage rage against the unfazed. Mara leaned back. Next resupply run called. Crisis routine, but whispers grew. Human resilience. Not orcs. Stewards, the war tipped. Her walk-off etched legend.